we got something to talk about. And it may not be what you want to hear, but I think it'll inevitably become a reality. Welcome to episode 22 of Righteous Thoughts. Okay, here we go. Heartland and XDefiant, two free-to-play games coming either at the end of this year or early next year. Now, as I said in the thumbnail, the Division franchise is losing its identity. Well, I say that because it seems as though Ubisoft are positioning themselves in a way that may eliminate PvP from the Division series of games, be it Division 3 or whatever other main Division game they come out with, by having other free-to-play IPs that can give you the PvP fix you need. This is a problem. You know why? Because hardcore Division players are a rare breed. I mean that. Mediocrity in games is not our forte. Ubisoft, y'all not slick, man. I know what you're trying to do. And if I'm right, it's going to be a lot of angry gamers out there. So here's what I believe is about to happen. Since the Division 2's PvP is so bad and is pretty much failed, Ubisoft is going to remove it in the Division series going forward so they can have a beautiful story-driven game in all of its glory. With not having a PvP to worry about, that game would be an amazing PvE experience. I don't doubt that. You'll be able to get your fix from XDefiant and Heartlands. But hold up. The Division is not an ordinary title, and it's not just about a PvP fix. When this game was first released back in the day, they created a monster. Ubisoft did what no other game developer had the courage to do. And from what I remember, the PvP in the Division 1 was not nearly as bad as it is in Div 2. I mean, Last Stand was so fun. Skirmish was good too. And don't let me get started on the DZ. That concept had never been implemented before. Period. An absolutely unique experience. That is going to possibly be PvE only. Boy, y'all tripping. As I said, it's not only about getting that PvP fix. We've grown attached to the system of the Division, builds and how they associate with the way we play. Here's a formula, right? Let's take, for example, a raid comes out, along with new gear, exotic weapons, whatever, the works. You know how it is when there's a new update. From there, we figure out which gear goes the best with each other. Then we try and understand how that can make you successful in a certain part of the raid. And if you really want to mix things up and challenge yourself, take it into PvP. That's not just a fix. It's a system intertwined within the fabric of what the Division is. I mean, the new games coming out, XDefiant and Heartland. One is a FPS, one is a third person. They're trying to give everyone their preference. I understand that, but it's still not enough. Not for this game. If I wanted to play another game, I'd go play another game. Period. Doesn't matter that XDefiant has cleaners and outcast or whatever, or that Heartland has a survival type experience. None of them have builds, which is the main reason why I play Division in the first place. Looking at XDefiant initially, it looked just like Call of Duty. And there are preset classes that already have a build ready to go for you. No creativity involved in this process. Just like everything else. Why would you take that away from us? And Heartland has no builds. Just get through the experience and start over. A battle royale type, you know? It's fun, for real. I mean, I played it, but it's never going to be the same as playing a full-fledged Division game with everything involved. I mean, at least in a Division, when playing survival after collecting caches and extracting them when killing the hunters, you could actually take that stuff with you and add it to your arsenal of gear and weapons in the main game. That's where I got my urban MDR, and it was one of the most epic things I've experienced in all of gaming. It gave survival more of a sense of purpose. So no, it's not about just a fix. I know that for me, I'd rather keep the Division how it is with the DZ and all. Just make some improvements. It's within their capabilities for sure. I'm not saying the PvP from the Division 2 is good, but Part 1 was just build upon that. I understand what they're trying to do, but I tell you what, the identity of the Division will disappear if they keep going this way. If this happens, and it'll be a thing of history talked about like other games that's been inducted in the Hall of Fame that can never be recreated. Now, there is the possibility that releasing these two games is just a business strategy for the purposes of attracting more people to Ubisoft titles. It makes sense. I mean, think about this. In XDefiant, you got Division factions that you can play as. And if you want to know more about them, then there's an entire game from which those factions originate. The Division. Same with Heartland, just in another way. I mean, if you get into the lore of Heartland, you'll know that the location takes place somewhere in the Division world. That's totally fine if it's done this way. A business strategy, that is. But That's all it needs to be. I would prefer it be that. I mean, because to let a game concept like this be reduced to the level of immersion as every other adventure game, shooter, or RPG would be catastrophic. For a lot of you, all of what the Division has is what made you a gamer and even changed the way you look at other games. I know when I see a new title about to be released, I always hold it to the standards of the Division. I know I shouldn't, but I can't help it, right? Comment if you feel me. I mean, Gamey Daddy talked about this a while ago, right? In one of his discussion videos. 𝐷𝐷𝐻𝐻 talks about it too, but the topic was the Division 3 being a full PvE experience. People gave him a lot of flack for that video, probably because he's a PvE player and also that, you know, we don't want that to happen in general. That doesn't change the fact that he may be right and it may be true. By the way, I don't agree with him in that, but we're still cool anyway. The weather is changing, my friends, and depending on which way the wind blows, we may get a disaster or clear skies. Let's hope for the latter. I'm totally fine with all this new stuff, Defiant and Heartland, but don't change what could be great. You almost had it in Div 1. You failed in Div 2. The Division 3 is your chance to come full circle. Give us what you promised way back in that Christmas trailer. And when I say they failed, I'm exclusively referring to the fusion of PvP and PvE working smoothly alongside each other, simultaneously. And I don't think it's really been done in any game. Y'all could do it. I know you can. Anyways, I spoke my piece, and these were my thoughts. What are yours? Drop a like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in my next video. Be right out.